Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I have to share something with you because I've been involved with Open for about 4 or 5 years now, and I always was the token Pakistani woman that they always had to have at their conference. So I'm very glad that I see so many Pakistani women as well as our friends from FWE today. What I would like to do is I would like to introduce our speaker today, Wendy Beecham, who's sitting right there. She's the CEO of FWE, which is Forum for Women Entrepreneurs. I have known this forum while I was at Seven Rosen Funds, and they have trained women, given them the tools to excel, start businesses, as well as become real corporate leaders. And Wendy is the CEO, and she's transforming FWE, and she will tell us more about what she's doing there. Just to give a background of what Wendy's done in her life, she spent 25 years in corporate leadership positions. She started as a corporate librarian, moving from the field into the field of electronic media, and then she became the CEO of a London publishing company. So, Wendy, you were leading an old traditional media publishing company, and I'm now focused on new media and getting all the citizens involved, so it'll be interesting to learn more about it. She returned to the U.S. in 2003, where she led the Nexus and Educational Division of LexisNexis before she decided to leave the corporate world and start her own startup. And so she set up a boutique consulting firm to coach C-level executives about executive performance. So I would like to welcome Wendy to come up to the stage and share some of her insights with the rest of the community here today. So it's your drive inside of you that keeps you looking around. So how do you network? Since there's this whole slide you presented on networking. No, I think it's very hard when you have kids, you have work, you know, you have to take care of your house. You just don't network. I actually don't, because my life is my work, and whatever little time I have is my kids.
That's right.
So I network online, but how do you network?
Well, I've got the mic on, so I think it's okay.
Oh, this is for me. Oh, okay, sorry.
So I think there's the misperception there that networking is something you do before and after work. And this is one of the big differences that men have from women. It's something that they make time during the work hours in order to go ahead and create connections with people. And in every role that I've had, I want to meet other people doing interesting things. And I have these meetings during work hours. So networking isn't always about going to a big group setting where you have a networking cocktail hour and then you do something. You know, it's like your definition of networking has to change. It's about making connections, and they can be one-on-one. They don't have to be part of some event that you attend. So I think that's probably one of the biggest differences, and I'd really encourage you to change that, because the reason it's critical, and this goes back again to building success for yourself. In any role that you have, whether it's a personal role at home or a professional role as a CEO of an organization, there are things happening out in the world that are interesting that you can incorporate and do with what you're doing that might not necessarily have anything at all to do with what you're doing today. And so that's really why I want to meet people and find out what they're doing and what they're interested in, because it could be something that I want to learn. It could be something that's a new product idea that I want to create an alliance with that company in order to go ahead and make what I'm doing better. And so that's why, from a CEO perspective, it's really important to keep broadening that networking connections, but make it work for you. You know, if you find someone you want to get to know and they like to work out at the gym, then meet them at the gym and do a workout together. You know?
See, I think that's I don't call that networking. It's for you to find out what you need to get and how you make it happen.
That's right.
So what you were saying, you're an introvert. So when you're an introvert, you're not a person who wants to network. But I think it's your competitiveness that gets you to network.
Well, it's also my curiosity, though. I think that's more the thing, because I really enjoy the conversations I have with the people that I meet. And I'm personally interested in who they are as people and what they are doing. And so I don't think of it as networking. I think of it as personal development about, you know, all these cool people out there and what it is that I can learn from their outlook on life, their pathway they've had in their life, I would never have a cat if I hadn't had a conversation with somebody who's a cat lover. Seriously. So, and she actually went to the SPCA with me to get my cat. You know, it was that serious. And now I couldn't imagine not ever having a cat. And I do have this thing with my cat. I guess you're seeing that. But I love my cat. She's so sweet. She's very cute. But anyway, I'm being silly. But the key thing is really that it's not always a professional connection. Grazia is a perfect example of this. Yes. Grazia came to an event that we did with Nancy Pelosi back in August. And she phoned, Grazia is an extrovert. So she phones me. She's like, I want to meet you. And I'm like, okay. So, and at that point she was with an organization that was interesting to me, and we met, but we developed a very strong personal connection because of other interests that we have in life. And it was through Grazia that I was introduced to Dilbar, which is the only reason that I'm sitting here and that we were able to help with this conference today. And, you know, so you just don't know what's going to happen. And it's about, with the introvert piece of it too, it's about making it work and understanding what it means to you. Absolutely. So I don't enjoy going to places where there's going to be 300 people I don't know. So what I try and do is make it a game for myself. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go because it might be interesting or valuable. I'm going to talk to 3 people. And after I talk to 3 people, I can go.
That's a very good rule, I think.
And I find that works, and I end up staying, you know. Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I learned from Grazia.
No, I like your rule of 3. Isn't it always about 3 things?
Absolutely.
So that's excellent.
It's like going, if you don't want to work out, they say go for 5 minutes, and suddenly you're there for an hour. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's amazing.
So any questions from the audience?
Just building on the Thanks. I just had a question, just building on the networking, you know, and you mentioned about making connections, especially in a group of, you know, primarily South Asian women here today. Women wanting to network, you know, whether they're starting out or already in the workforce, networking specifically, feeling more comfortable going to women versus, you know, oh, I'm going to call this lawyer who works at this office who happens to be a man, and that comfort level and you know, overcoming that sort of mentality and, you know, cultural context, and how to empower people to say, okay, you know, this person could be of interest to me, and make those connections, but to sort of broaden the ability to make those connections not gender-based.
That's right, and I think in that case, it's about finding environments where there are mixed opportunities to meet women and men at the same time. I do find that there's immense value within FWE&E for having a women's-only organization, because it's a great support network, a safe place for women to really be peers with each other and share on a gender level the differences that they experience in work and professional life and personal life from men. But if you go to a trade association or some other kind of event where it's a mixed audience, it's much more comfortable then, because you're part of groups of people that are mixed groups that you can talk to. But the other thing too is the mindset of starting by looking at within your family. And a lot of times you have husbands, brothers, cousins who are in professional situations that you could feel more comfortable having them introduce you as well. So that's another thought, is to use personal connections that are men that can help you be introduced to other men in that way.
We have one here. Okay.
Hi, my name is Tanya. Thank you for presentation. Great wisdom that you shared with us. My question has to do with conflict between men in the workplace. And being a professional woman, you know, we have to stand up for ourselves at times. And I was curious if you had any advice in terms of, you know, standing up for yourself, but without being perceived, and I hate to use the word, as thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a stereotype. It's a stereotype. And it's unfortunate because it's on both sides. It's not just men stereotyping women. Women do it to each other.